Welcome back to another edition of Sunday Sugo, the segment where we not only answer questions submitted by all of you at home, but also chat about the beauty and culture of Italy. And today, we are in the festive spirit, and we will share a little bit about the holiday traditions that all of you and all of us love so much. So let's start with our favorite family traditions, boys, because it's like that in-between time, that weird time right now between Christmas and the New Year where like all the days kind of blend together. Luckily, there's a lot of football on. We get to enjoy it. But like the holiday festivities still kind of roll on a little bit. And I know you've got your family in town and some truffle in town as well.
So for someone who likes to cook, who is Italian, Christmas is like their Super Bowl because that's where they really show off. So my mom brought a little tartufo from Alba in Piemonte. And you just start doing a little bit of grating over the fettuccine, and it is just the aroma that fills the air. There's really nothing like it, and it's such a luxury. It can only happen once a year because, I mean, it's extortionate to buy this silly little thing that looks like a potato, and then you see what I mean. Every single grate, you got to really worry.
It's like gold.
It is like gold, and it tastes like, I mean, it's so delicious, but it's the food, really, I think, for all of us during Christmas, where our parents really show off all the recipes that have been passed down from generation, refined, tuned, to get the perfect meal. Well,
and Marco, we were all trying to guess how many ravioli your mom was going to make this year. Did we ever get the final number for Christmas?
453.
Wow.
453 ravioli. And the best thing, we always tell her, we don't want gifts. We don't need material things. I say, just save me like 50 to 100 ravioli so I can keep them in my freezer, and then I have them for the rest of the week. For me, that's the most important thing. It's the food. It's surrounding yourself. It's eating lots of panettone. The amount of times at like 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. I'm just cutting another piece of panettone to have it every night. But that's what Christmas is about. That's what the holidays are about.
You lose track of when you're supposed to eat, what you're supposed to eat, how you're supposed to eat, right? It's just plate after plate after plate, and then you're eating at 3, then you're eating again at 9. You might even eat something crazy, big panettone for breakfast. So out of control. It's a fun season. It's a fun time, but also can't wait for it to be over, to be honest.
No, I was really happy this year. I got to go home to St. Louis, where I'm from, and every year since 2000, so this was a 25th year that we've gotten together. We don't need to talk about my performance in the game, but my entire family, which the Trost side of my family, my grandpa is one of 6 boys, and all of them had anywhere from like 3 to 5 kids each, and then they have a bunch of kids. So there's a whole group of us. We play a soccer game, and then we play a dice game called Left, Right, Center, and the pot can get up to like $300. So my little cousin Will and my Uncle Greg won it this year. I've only won it once. I think it was like back in 2006, the last time I won. So it's very competitive, but it's it's a lot of fun.
You move a little bit
That's lovely, Aly.
Wow.
That's great.
You move a little bit like Politano on the pitch. Yeah, very shifty, quick, technical.
Well, however I was moving, I am still sore days later, so I probably
There's only 15-minute halves. That's the big talking point.
Marco and Matteo had some big feelings. I guess we don't play long enough
The
games.
stretching is 30 minutes. The halftime show is 30 minutes, but only 15-minute halves that you play.
And my dad tweaked his groin in the warm-up, so yeah.
Tough.
We're all a little rusty.
Yeah.
The little kids, it's all about them, though. It's the time for the younger cousins to kind of like really shine and show what they've been working on all year. If there's one thing in the Trost family, no matter what you go on and do, every kid is exposed to soccer at some point.
That's great.
What's the food, really quickly?
Food, it's just like it's like a potluck. We do a bunch of like pastas, we do meats, I don't know, just like a bunch of stuff. Yeah, nothing like that we're known for. Okay. But we want to know all of your questions. Let's get into the fan-submitted questions. And we're going to start with this one from Sebastian Clavio _4. Nico Paz or Scott McTominay? This is a fun one. Marco, what do you think?
If you want to win a league title, I will go with Scott McTominay, but Nico Paz as a player is a better technical player than Scott McTominay. It's hard to really argue those two. They're very, very different. But if I want to win a trophy, I'm going Scott McTominay.
Question. This is a business, and players are assets in this business, right? Which means they're worth money. And Nico Paz has an unbelievably high ceiling, and he's worth a lot more than Scott McTominay, and that's just a fact. And so I would take Nico Paz without thinking twice.
Yeah, I mean, Scott McTominay played for Napoli. Nico Paz is playing for a very young Como team. I think Nico Paz is potentially one of the most technically gifted players that we'll have in Europe. So higher ceiling, higher upside, Nico Paz.
Okay. Very good. Moving along. So all in agreement there. Moving on to the next question. This is from Ilir _. Some of these handles, everybody, too much for me, too tough for me. But the question is, who will be top 4 at the end of the season? I feel like this is a conversation we can have week to week because it is so close and it does feel like it changes quite often. But what do you think, Matteo?
Inter, Milan, Napoli, Roma.
Okay.
Almost exactly the same. In the fourth spot, I got Juventus. Because even when they don't play well yesterday, they were not great against Pisa, but they're finding ways to win. Spalletti's been good since he's come in.
I don't have Napoli in third. I have Napoli first. I have Milan second, Inter third, Juventus fourth.
That's all good shots.
Okay.
It's really tough. We're going to change our opinion every single week.
Why no Juve for you?
I'm like 50-50 between Juve and Roma. I think that because Roma are going to strengthen in January and they've already been near the top of the table, they have, to me, one of the greatest managers of the 21st century in Gasperini. But them getting a striker in January is just going to lift them that extra level.
This is the big argument, by the way, at Christmas. This is like when you're sitting at the table with your uncles and stuff, you're fighting over which team is going to be at the top. That's also one Christmas tradition that
Does your family all agree that it'll be Napoli?
No, nobody agrees. Nobody agrees on anything, let alone the Serie A.
Including in this room. Okay, moving it to the next question. This is a fun one. This is from Iman_the_blessed. I don't know if I need to be reading them exactly this precise, but either way, do you think it's harder to score in Serie A than in the Premier League?
So it's interesting. We have proof from people who have played in both leagues. Cristiano Ronaldo, Carlos Tevez, Patrice Evra all said something similar, that they found it more difficult to score in Serie A. I also think that there's a kind of striker that works better in Serie A compared to the Premier League, the kind of target man like the Giroud or the Füllkrug. And I think that has to do with strikers who maybe they don't cushion that first ball first. The way that Premier League defenders are quick, athletic, aggressive, that if you bobble your first touch, they're going to be all over it. I think in Serie A, you have a little bit more space to bring the ball down. And that's why we've seen a certain kind of striker work better in Serie A than in the Premier League. And even just slightly older players, right? Because the games are played at a slower pace. I think that's objectively true at this point. But ex-players have said Serie A is really tough to score.
Let's hear from our
answer
ex-player.
the correct answer is that it depends on the profile of the player for sure. You think of Shevchenko in Milan, who was one of the best strikers ever. Went to Chelsea, couldn't score a goal, couldn't trap a ball, right? So it depends. The profile of the player. But the answer probably for me, if you're going to just give a simpler answer, is it's easier to score in the Premier League and harder to score in Serie A because Premier League games are more open. That's why sometimes people say, oh, Premier League's so fun to watch. It's fun to watch because there's a lot of transition. There's a lot of athletes. The game goes back and forth. There's so many open moments where in Italy, it's much more pragmatic and well thought out. Very good managers. Obviously, we're known to have some of the best managers in the world in Italy. So they're much more tactical and balanced in the team, which becomes difficult for strikers to find space between the lines, space behind the line. So, and there's, Italians read the game, I think, better than anyone. They know the moments in a game better than anyone. It's not just 90 minutes of the same tempo. They understand, okay, this moment requires this moment requires that, much better than the Premier League.
Allegri said it yesterday when he was talking about Nkunku. He said, Premier League is the most beautiful league in the world. Nobody's going to argue that. But Serie A is much harder than anyone else because there's no space. There's no space. And Nkunku doesn't have the opportunity to do what he was able to do in the Premier League. And defenses are just smarter. And that's the focus. The focus, when you're in Italy, if you can see the goals that sometimes we see in other leagues, we say it's impossible. The coach would get killed in the media the following day. And Conte, who was successful at Chelsea, they finished 10th place, then he won the league in the Premier League. He said it in his book. I'm reading his book right now. He said, when you have to score in Italy, it's a completely different game than in any other league.
Oh, great questions, everybody. Great
really
discussion.
Good, yeah.
And we also always love to hear about your family traditions. So we got a great one from Claudio Orsini. He said, all my cousins and I go to the Italian club having a cappuccino and a Peroni with the old timers. We play Scopa, watch the games, and finish with some baci bellissimo. So that's what they do around this time of year.
The best.
The most important thing, of Claudio here is that spending time with the old timers. You have to do it. If you're an Italian American or anyone, wherever you come from, got to spend time with your grandparents. You got to spend time with them, learn the traditions, spend time with them because you not only you can learn so much from them, but also they appreciate the time you spend with them. I think it's so important.
Really quickly, Italy has the highest percentage of 3 generations living under the same roof. It's amazing. No, it's amazing. It keeps everyone young.
It does.
Ali, we need to teach you Scopa. It's the funnest card game.
I don't think I've played. I love a good game. Okay,
I like
cool.
Scopa.
We'll work on that later on today. But wait, Marco, what are we doing with Marco? Oh, I don't know. Okay, but either way, barcode. I thought production was telling me Marco. I'm like, what's Marco doing? Well,
Never remember my name, Ali.
Okay, Mark. Okay, we want to hear about your Sunday traditions, everybody. So scan the QR code to be featured on the show, as we always do Sunday Sugo on Sundays of our Serie A coverage.